All right, welcome. So today I have with me Charles Moy, who runs a marketing agency, and he is an industry expert in the MLM industry, network marketer. I'm Dwight, lead at Apogee, and makers of TitanMLM. Today we're going to be talking about MLM checklists and what you need to start up your business. Our first topic is all about sequencing.
Well, having a checklist is all about knowing what to do. And the second part of that is knowing when to do it. Like when a shuttle is taking off and they're going to the moon, everyone wants to start their company and, be shot into outer space. Well, if you're going to the moon, you got to have a checklist. And if you see like the movies where the astronauts are taking off, their boosters check, this check, that check, that check, and they have a checklist. What's important about having a checklist is doing things in the right sequence. So in starting and launching an MLM company, you've got to be able to do things in the right order, or you're not going to be able to progress your company forward. Typically, what happens to a company that struggles during their launch is they are doing the right tasks, but they're doing them out of order. Let me give you a perfect example. When going to get a merchant account, you have to have your terms and conditions done. You have to have your website done. You have to have your logo done. You have to have things done before you're able to submit for a merchant account. If you go to submit for a merchant account too early, then you're going to get denied, and it's going to slow the process down.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up doing things 2 and 3 times over and over again. So by building the logo, you can build your color scheme, you can build your website. Once your website is up, you can get your terms and conditions on there. You can have your shopping cart running. When all these things are checked off, then you can go get your merchant account. Well, in a launch of an MLM, there's a lot of things that need to be done. And what we've created is a base checklist of 140 things that you absolutely must have to have if you're going to launch your company.
140.
Yeah, 140. Well, typically after customizing and working with the startup, the list would go from anywhere the minimum 140 up to maybe 200 different things that must be completed before the company is going to have a successful launch.
Well, 140 is a lot of items on a checklist. What if somebody were to ask you, what is the most important item on the checklist?
Oh, that's a great question. And it's like, what is the most important? Well, you got to have a merchant account. Well, you got to have products. You got to be able to take people into a genealogy and pay commissions. All of those things are important. But the most important thing that needs to be done on the checklist is the one that you miss. Here's a perfect example. You've got your company running and you've got your busload full of people and you're cruising down the highway and you're up, you're launched, and you're cruising down the road, and you start to pick up speed, and all of a sudden it starts to rain and you forgot something on your checklist. You forgot windshield wipers. And the next thing you know, you're going to crash this bus right into a ditch and probably injure every single person on the bus. So the most important thing that needs to be done on the checklist is the thing that is missing. So having everything up front and knowing what needs to be done. And we built this checklist. I built this checklist over about 25 different MLM launches. And there was times that we crashed the bus, and there was times that we were missing something. And that's when I made the adjustments to the checklist. I feel very confident now through a dozen successful launches that we have the most important things, all of them in a complete list that will, get you from idea to launched company.
Okay, yeah, very valuable checklist. So make sure they go in the right sequence. Make sure you don't miss anything. And number 3, begin with the end in mind. I'm reminded of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It mentions beginning with the end in mind. How does that apply here?
Well, unfortunately, in the multi-level marketing space, 90% of the companies that launch this year are not going to be here after 3 years. And a lot of companies crash and burn. And when you have a clear picture, a clear vision, and you understand in like a checklist format what makes a successful MLM company, then you can begin having that vision in mind. You can begin having that idea of what the successful company looks like, from the space you want to be in to the type of products you want to have, and putting all that down in an extended checklist is important. But having a startup checklist and then having a checklist for 3 years down the road, that's 2 different things.
Right. Okay. Number 4, you want your project to be on time and on budget. But how does a checklist help with that?
Well, a checklist is just step one. So knowing what you have to do is important. Then sequencing that is the next important piece. And then assigning those tasks to your team members, and then assigning accountability and milestones. This is the creation of a performa, so that you have a clear map of what needs to be done, what time it needs to be done, who's going to do it, and what sequence it's going to be in is critically important. So what that allows you to do is then you can assign budgets. If you've got to have capital available to buy software, do a logo, purchase inventory, hire the right staff members, then you need to know when you got to have that capital buy. And by creating a performa, you will stay on time and on budget. It also gives a big boost of confidence to every person on the team that they know their role and they know when it's due by. And when you're able to run your launch with deadlines, it keeps you going in the right direction. And at no point will you guys feel lost about where you are in the percentage complete to launching the company.
That makes sense. And when you mentioned performas, I think a lot about my experience launching MLMs as well. And a lot of people come to me and they'll say, yes, I want to launch an MLM. I have a great idea for a product. I have a great idea for how to compensate my distributors, but I just don't have the budget. And so when you say performa, I'm reminded that people don't realize there is an option of getting investment in their MLM. And performa is one way that you can create those projections to get the investment. And so that brings us to number 5. Where does the capital flow?
Yeah, okay, so when putting together a performa, it is done for your internal team, so everybody knows what their role is, when things need to be done by, and what sequence it needs to be done by. When you break down your performa in like a week-by-week basis, so you look at, okay, 90 days is a good performa, because projecting a series of tasks beyond 90 days becomes difficult because so many things can change. But you can break down a checklist of 140 to 180 points and break that into 90 days. And you know what things you need to get done on a week-by-week basis to be on point. Well, when you're able to have clarity of where you're going to be in the near future and immediate future, and when you're able to have budgets in place so you know when you're spending money and what milestones should be achieved, you become very capital attractive. So when you have these tools in place, the internal team feels great. But the external team, your investors or people that are looking to maybe put their time capital on the line, or you have distributors who want to put their reputation capital on the line. When you're able to have all this organized and you're able to show people that you started here and you're going through this sequence, you're going through this checklist, and you're hitting your milestones, you're totally on point. And basically, the performa is like a map and a compass. And if you're stuck in the woods, or you're trying to get from this side of the woods through the jungle and to the land of paradise, and you've got a map and the compass to do it, then at any point you can stop, you can check your compass, you can say, oh yes, we're going north, we're going to the right place. And it gives confidence for you and everybody that's with you along this trek that you're going to the right place, you're going to make it there on time, and everything that you say you're going to do is going to happen.
Right, okay. So capital flows to the area of least resistance. And in that case, in this instance, the checklist is really going to help you create that. Much like a river flows through the forest in the place where it's least resistant, your capital, the investment or people's human capital in your company is going to flow much smoother with this checklist. So we encourage you to download this checklist. We're giving it away for free. All you have to do is follow the link below this video or on this page and fill out a quick survey. We're going to give you this checklist for free. It's going to help you understand how to launch an MLM company. We encourage you to try. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching.